Welcome to the Beast Body Podcast. I am your coach, Kiersey, and I'm joined here today by Coach Jeff. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Thank you. I'm so good. That was so
You
weird.
feeling better today than you were yesterday? You're saying you really have life in your life in your blood yesterday.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better today. I had more caffeine today and a little bit more food.
Well, that helps. More caffeine in food typically makes me feel better too. So
I'm probably still a little exhausted from my squat yesterday. Well, it was not really personal record, but I tried my heaviest this year, my
Mhm.
one rep max, and I aimed for 175 and I made 170. So,
I mean, hey, you're right. You're right there, and especially with did you guys close down at all?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
the gym was closed for only 6 weeks, so not that much. But
E- Even
my mistake was not recovering from the injury properly.
yeah. Well, yeah, that'll do it too. And I'm really stubborn when it comes to my issues too. I don't like to sit down and recover as properly as I should, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so since we're talking about it, I sprained my knee pretty much exactly a year ago, and I was doing very well in my recovery until the pandemic hit, and then together with the injury and the pandemic and everything, I just got too depressed to really take care of myself properly. So I didn't do my rehab exercises, I didn't do my stabilization. I lost a lot of strength in my core, and that was my limiting factor. Yesterday, I felt my brace go, and instead of pushing through and compromising my back, I bailed, and
Yep.
I probably could have pushed the 175 that I was going for, but I'm pretty sure that I would be in pain today, so I didn't do that.
Hey, that's a common thing that I'm hearing, especially over the last 8 months. It's almost verbatim from what I've been hearing from a lot of the people that I've been working with. So
Yeah.
you're not alone. So you're not alone.
Well, talking about that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Okay, so my name is Jeff, and I work for a company called First Form, based here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm a NASM certified personal trainer, NASM certified fitness nutrition specialist, a certified sports nutrition specialist, and I'm currently working on my NASM certified nutrition coach, which I bought 2 months ago, and I haven't opened yet. So, but luckily I got a year to get on that, so I still got time to dip into that. But yeah, this is something I actually haven't been in this field for relatively long, so to speak. It's something I didn't get into till my late teens, like till I was almost 20 years old. Um, it was just something that kind of developed over a kind of an unfortunate incident. So I grew up playing sports. So I would work out playing like training for baseball and hockey and stuff like that because that's what I played. I bust my ass on the field and in practice, but other than that, I really didn't put too much into my fitness, nutrition, stuff like that. I mean, I was a teenager. I mean, what teenager at 13, 14 years old is caring about what they're eating? I mean,
Nobody.
come on. Right, exactly. Um, but no, my mom, who was diabetic her almost her entire life, she unfortunately passed away from a heart attack at the age of 44, and that was kind of my wake up call. I'm like, okay, I don't want the same thing to happen to me, and I don't want uh, just I didn't want the same thing to happen to me, and that was my wake up call. And 4 days later, I started going to the gym consistently. Now,
Nice.
for the first 2 years, I didn't know anything. I just went in. I just thought you went in and just threw a bunch of weight around, and that's what I did. And for the first 2 years, I obviously with throwing weight around, I saw some. I was obviously improving myself, but didn't know what I was doing at the time. And then some people came up to me and started asking me what I was doing. I just told them what I did. I basically just went in and went as hard as I could in the gym. That's basically all I did. And then as the weeks went on, people started to see results for themselves. They came back to me thanking me, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then when I was sitting in class one day, at the time I wanted to be a sports journalist because, well, I wasn't good enough to advance in sports because I didn't apply myself as much as I should have when I played sports. And I was just sitting there one day, and I was just like, screw it. I was just said screw it. Sitting in class one day, and I started reading up on fitness, nutrition, and then about a year and a half later, I applied for the organization at First Form, and I've been there for the last 3 years or so.
Awesome. How do you like it there?
Oh, well, I absolutely love it. The saying is like, if you love your work, you'll never work a day in your life. I mean, that's the feeling that I get. I love walking into work every single day, and it's just it. I couldn't ask for a better culture for where I work. I absolutely love it.
That's wonderful to hear. And I mean, working for a supplement and athletic company or fitness company, how did that impact your life, especially like in your athletic life and maybe your nutrition even? Did
Oh,
it
like
change because you worked there?
it didn't necessarily change it, but it forced me to take everything that I do in my life to the next level and beyond. Because everybody that works there, they bust their ass on a consistent basis, and like I was saying, that culture is contagious. We hold each
Mm-hmm.
other accountable for no matter what it is that we're doing. If someone's not living up to the expectations of what they should be doing, we're not afraid to chew each other out about it. But we're also not. We also don't hesitate to hype each other up when we do something good. And what I love about working for First Form is that obviously the supplements what you see on the basis, but it's much more than that. The supplements come secondary. Our goal at First Form is to get people the results that they're looking for, change the world, make the world a better place, one person at a time, and it literally is one person at a time. And
Mm-hmm.
it's awesome to see. I don't know if you follow the page at all on Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that, but very rarely do we throw supplements up there and talk about supplements specifically. It's more about the stories that people have gone through. Just your
Mm-hmm.
average Joe people from like where they started and to where they are now. So we actually just put up a story a couple days ago of a guy named Ryan who actually lives in the St. Louis area. He was well over 500 pounds a couple years ago,
Wow.
and he is he's still got a ways to go, but he's lost, what is it? I don't want to misquote it here, but he's in the twos now, and this is
Oh,
just
wow.
after a couple of years, and
That's awesome.
he's at almost every event that we do, and he's just a flat out awesome guy. And just to
Mm-hmm.
see like what he's overcome over the years, it's absolutely incredible.
So
And that's
rewarding, right?
yeah, yeah,
Such a
yeah.
rewarding job for sure. For
Mhm.
people who don't know what First Firm does, I think a lot of people know it's a supplement company, but they don't know all the other things that they're doing. Why don't you give us a quick rundown? What do you do as a personal trainer working for a supplement company?
So my job specifically at First Form, we have an app. It's called the My Transformation Today, or My Transformation Starts Today app. And I'm an advisor in the app. So what I do is anybody who downloads the app and is put under my name, I can see what they're doing from their nutrition to the workouts that they choose, what their goals are. If no matter if they're trying to lose weight, build muscle, maintain, I can see all that goal weight and stuff like that. And if they download the premium version of the app, which comes out to like $4 a month if you do the yearly program, they can message me directly. And some a lot of the talk in the app with a lot of the people that I'm working with, it's we just started our new challenge. A lot of that is talking about their nutrition because a lot of these people have never done anything like this before. They were in the same
Mm-hmm.
boat I was when I started, and hell, like my mom and dad, they had their health issues and they didn't know where to turn to turn it around. They didn't
Right.
know where to turn to better themselves, and that's why I take so much passion in what I do because I guarantee, like if I knew what I know now back then, I strongly believe that they would be here to this day. I strongly believe that, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what I go. That's my mindset going into every single person that I help with, because you don't know, you could very well be saving someone's life.
Yeah,
Uh,
very true.
yeah.
I think that's a great point. I think the biggest issue with staying healthy or losing weight or making a positive change in life is the lack of information or correct information that's out there. Maybe
Hmm.
even sometimes it's a surplus. There's just so much information, it's hard to filter what really applies to you in that moment.
Right.
That's part of
Yeah.
why I wanted to make this podcast to give people a chance to ask questions and specifically answer those questions for those people. Because if you just go to Google and you do a Google search, you will get so much different information and it might not necessarily apply to you. And it's very easy to pick the wrong thing or go down a rabbit hole. It's like when you're
Mhm.
trying to diagnose your cough. Like
Right.
as all of a sudden you have lung cancer just because you
Oh,
Googled
yeah,
it.
yeah. Google cough. You go to WebMD. I'm like, well, you're dead. So
Right. So it's the same. It's the same with fixing a squat. I Google, how do I fix my squat? Like my issue might be that my right toe wants to rotate in, and I just put my weight there, and all of a sudden
mhm,
they're telling me I have an imbalance in my left shoulder, or so
right.
Googling is always a hit or a miss. Which is
Yeah.
why I wanted to do this podcast, and I love having you on here because you are a part of the reason I became a personal trainer. When I first started going to the gym, I was here. I've been going to the gym for a long time, but when I first started going to the gym here, I started taking mostly classes. I didn't really know that much about personal training or really getting into fitness. And then I started doing the group fitness classes because they asked me to take over a class when an instructor left. And I got into the fitness a little bit through that. And we were talking on Twitter at that time already. We became friends through the YouTube
Mhm.
stuff that we were involved in. And just, seeing you advance in your life and the things that you're doing to change your life and getting more into fitness and then getting certified really motivated me to do the same for myself. And you were a huge help. You helped me study and helped me out in other ways there too. So you're a huge part of why I became a personal trainer. And thank you for that because my life is so much more awesome ever since.
Hey, no problem at all. You don't need to thank me. You're the one that put in the work. You don't need to thank me for that.
Well, anyway, I will anyways. But speaking of all those questions, let's go over to the Patreon questions. I have a couple ones
Yeah, let's do it.
that I would like to answer. And the first one is, how do I train towards a pull-up? And once I get there, what are good variations to do to keep it interesting? Take it away,
Okay.
Jeff.
So this be like working towards working out at a gym or at home, or I guess I could apply both in this instance.
So this person specifically, I know does mostly body weight exercise, does not go
Okay.
into a gym. They do have a bar available. I don't know what height it is though. I don't know if they can hang off it with the feet dangling or if it's,
Okay.
closer to the floor. That I'm not sure of.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're training towards a pull-up, because I know how frustrating that can be, because it took me, I could never do one in elementary school and middle school, and it was frustrating as all hell.
Nope.
Um, but no, if you're struggling to do a pull-up, straight pull-up, the best thing to do would just be strengthening the muscles that go into the pull-up itself. One of my go-tos that I like to do, if you can sort of mimic a TRX movement. So I don't know if you have any like straps or bands that you could attach to a wall or something like that, and basically do rows on the wall. If you can wrap the band or wrap some straps around something like that, and just pull yourself up and let yourself fall back. Just do smooth, controlled movements up and down. That'll really help develop the tension in your lats and your shoulders and your arms and stuff like that, just to help develop the resistance that you're inevitably going to face when you go up towards a pull up.
Mhm.
If you don't have that, what you also can use, and I had to do this a little bit when we were locked down for it was like I think it was like 6 weeks or something like that too.
Mhm.
I had to go use my I used my dining room table in my dining room, and I prop my feet out on the floor
Mhm.
and or under the table, and I just throw my hands up on the on the table and pull myself up that way.
Mhm.
Uh, Also, what you can do is I don't know if you got dumbbells at your house or anything like that. If you don't have dumbbells, or if you do have dumbbells, you can do some dumbbell rows, and there's many alternatives that you can do when it comes to rows. You can just do the strict row, or you can turn your hands, have your palms facing down, do rows that way. Plenty of movements you can do with that. If you don't have dumbbells, what I had to do, because I had to wait about a week or so for my dumbbells to show
Oh
up,
my god.
I yeah. Now, as soon as I heard that we could potentially were being locked down, I was at work, and I'm like, nope, I need some sort of equipment. I'm gonna go insane. So I went on Amazon and spent $750 on adjustable dumbbells right then and there.
Yeah, you were smart though. You jumped on it like early
Hmm.
before everything was sold out and
Oh,
backed up for months.
if I didn't have any equipment here at the house, I would have went insane.
Yeah,
I
I
would have
bet.
went insane. But no, what I was getting at is I had to load up my backpack with
Hmm.
basically anything that I could find throughout my house. And if you got a broomstick or something like that, you can put the broomstick in the straps. And what I did was I got myself into an elevated position. I found a nice little step ladder, leaned over the ladder, and basically did some rows with the broomstick between the straps, the weight in the backpack, and just did rows that way. I found that to be a very great back exercise as well. But basically, what it boils down to: try to train for the train the muscles that work in the movement itself. So like the upper back muscles, the delts, the traps, the lats. Throw in some bicep curls, stuff like that. Basically, anything that goes into the movement.
Yep, I totally agree. I'm huge on inverted rows. You can do them if you have a gym. Do them on the Smith machine. Do them in your squat rack. Put the bar low and just hang from it. Those are called inverted rows when you're hanging from the bar. You're doing inverted rows. If you're standing up and you're pulling the bar towards yourself, that's a regular row. Just for a quick explanation, and you can do them on a dining table, like Jeff said, and you can also make it harder or easier on yourself if you step your feet out further. The more parallel to the ground you're hanging, the harder it is. So if this is my dining table and I'm here rowing under it, this is harder than if I'm already here and doing this. if that makes any sense. Stepping the feet in a little bit makes it easier. Stepping the feet out makes it harder. If your only equipment to the inverted rows is a table, load up a backpack, like Jeff said, put on a backpack and do your inverted rows under the table. If the inverted rows get too easy, just make it harder. And you'll get there eventually. If you have a bar that is high enough that you do not reach the floor, find something to step on, grab, get into your pull-up position and do negatives, slow negatives.
Also, what I have heard that people have been doing as well. If you place a towel under your door, put a towel firmly under your door, you can kind of do a little makeshift pull-up that way. Because that way, if you put the towel under the door, that's going to keep the door from ripping off of its hinges.
Yeah.
But I did that a little bit too around the house as well.
That would scare me.
Yeah, fair.
Especially when I know this is my brother asking. I know he's a tall, bigger guy, so I would be a little bit concerned about the door.
Fair. Well, that's what the towel's for.
Right. But I would definitely say, like, find a way to do negatives. If you have a resistance band, a long one, which I know he doesn't, but you can, like, loop it around the bar so you can step into the band. That will take a little bit of your body weight off. So you can do assisted pull-ups like that, or negatives. Pull-ups, negatives, and inverted rows are really what I always tell people. And then the second part of the question was variations to keep it interesting. That I don't really know anything about. I only do regular pull-ups, and I'm proud if I can do one.
Yeah. Basically, when it comes to variation to the pull-ups, I mean, a lot of that, and this goes with like any exercise that you'll do, strictly just changing the grip. I mean, because I'm sure most people are aware of the three main grips that you take when you go into the pull-up. You got the palms facing out, which is going to work more the lats, more the delts, stuff like that. If you change to where your palms are facing towards each other, that's going to engage the arms a little bit more, and more of the traps and delts. And then if you want to go more of a strictly arm movement to work the biceps more, which I like to do because for whatever reason my arms are a little bit more struggle to grow for me. I like to throw in the palms facing towards me and just do the strict pull up that way. The quote unquote easier way to do a pull up.
I have a client right now and I'm teaching her pull-ups, and she always wants to switch her grip. Every single time I have her do a row or an assisted pull-up, she wants to switch. I'm like, no, we're not. No.
What, with the palms facing towards
you?
The easy way to do a pull-up. That's the easiest way.
Yep. She always wants to. Oh yeah, speaking of grip, just training your grip strength is really good too. If you have a bar and you can just hang on it, don't even pull up, just hang on it. Just strengthening your forearms, practicing having that pressure on your hand is huge. And training your abs too, because you want to engage your abs while you're hanging from that bar, so you're not dangling wildly around. So doing something like a hollow body hold, like where you're laying on the floor, you're raising your arms and your legs, so you're basically in this shape on the floor. Will help you engage the abs while you're hanging on a bar. Hanging knee raises, things like that.
And working on your core, that's going to help you with like literally any movement that you do. I mean,
absolutely.
You use your core in basically literally everything you do. So,
absolutely. Coming back to me failing my squat yesterday because my core gave out.
Yeah. Well, see, that's why people so when I deadlift and squat heavy, I don't wear a belt because because I feel that takes away the action of the core, and
Mm-hmm.
I've worked really hard to develop my core, and I want to use that to my advantage when I do the heavier lifts.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I also like to think I'm an idiot when I go into the bigger lifts, and I'm
Mm.
not going to do something where I could potentially hurt myself.
Yeah. See, I've never understood the point of training with a belt, except for if you're training specifically for a meet,
Right.
and getting
Exactly. Yeah.
used to the sensation.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, why would you?
Also, if you're working on that grip strength, don't be afraid to get some calluses on your hand.
Yeah. Mine are.
They're a little less visible now because they ripped off.
Look at
So
mine.
what do I?
My little
Oh yeah.
girl, my little
Yep.
girl hands.
Yep. Did they rip off yet or no?
So I shave
Oop.
mine. I shave mine so they
Okay.
don't rip. Because I'm a little pussy, and if my skin rips, I can't hold anything in my little hands anymore.
No, that's fair because like when I ripped the one off on my hand, like I had to tape up my hand
Mm-hmm.
for 5 days just because it was so annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't like pain. I will admit it. I hate pain. I know there's pain in lifting, but if you do it correctly, you can mostly avoid it.
well, yeah,
So like soreness and stuff like that is okay, but if there's like pain on my skin or something, I'm out. I don't want
hmm
that. So
fair,
I
fair.
shave my callus. I just take a little disposable razor and just shave them off.
Yeah, see, I use this guy now
Yeah.
just to cut him off.
That's a little bit more badass. Oh,
Yeah,
cuticle clippers work really well too.
true.
I wouldn't sand them off because that just gets the healthy skin around the callus. Like some people
Mhm.
scrub it off like that. I would never do that.
Yeah.
We have a second question.
Okay.
Second question is, I wakeboard once a month and I get very sore after. How do I recover better?
Okay, so I have never done wakeboarding before. I have done surfing one time when I was down there last year, and I was dead. After I did, I felt great during it. And then afterwards, I folded like a lawn chair. Um,
Very
but
unusual stress for your body, right?
yeah, yeah, and that's basically what it boils down to. Especially when you're doing a very intense, I assume, intense activity like wakeboarding once a month. It's going to be very hard to avoid that just because your body's not used to the intensity of the sport, the exercise, and what have you. But when it comes to recovering in general, that's basically going to come down. What's going to help a lot is what you put in your body after the activity. And no matter what activity you do, if you get protein and carbs in after your workout or after your sport, whatever you do, that's going to help your recovery immensely. And
Mm-hmm.
now, if you want to have the most optimal recovery, getting fast digesting nutrients, protein and carbs after the workout would be the most beneficial. And this is the one time where I would say supplements would be better than whole food,
Mm-hmm.
just because whole food isn't going to digest fast enough to yield the optimal recovery. Now, can you recover with whole food? Absolutely, whole food's
Mm-hmm.
going to get the job done. It's just going to be much slower.
Right. Speaking of the recovery through food, is there something you could eat before to make it better? To like prevent getting so sore, or make the wakeboarding itself better?
Yes, yeah. So same sort of concept. Just getting protein and carbs in before the activity. I mean, that's gonna help immensely.
Mm-hmm.
The protein is gonna help prevent the muscle tissue breakdown, keep the muscles working while the activity is going on, and then the carbs are gonna help supply the energy throughout the activity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing too crazy. I mean, as long as you're not doing it too close to the activity, so you throw up, which we had 3 people throw up in our group workout the other day because
Oh man.
they so we originally thought we were just going to go in and do whatever for 30 to 45 minutes and then go play dodgeball. So
Right.
a lot of people ate to like go train arms or back or something like that. Well, we ended up doing a 25-minute CrossFit workout, and yep, and they were not prepared for it, and they ended up throwing their food up about halfway through.
Whoops. Yeah, so there is a big difference of eating for a cardio type of
Right.
exercise or eating for a weightlifting type of exercise for sure. If there's too much food in your belly and
hmm
you're trying to jump up and down and run around and like really go all out, yeah, that's gonna come back up
Yeah.
for sure.
Now everybody's going to be different. I found the sweet spot for me is an hour to closer to an hour and a half before the
Mm-hmm.
activity. That's the sweet spot for me. Everybody's different. find what foods your body responds well with.
Mm-hmm.
Me before my workout, mine is protein and protein powder and Greek yogurt and oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found it works well for me. For you, it might be chicken and potatoes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Me personally, I love sweet potatoes before working out.
Oh, okay.
I'm a carb person. My body likes to run on carbs, so
Hmm.
I fuel myself with carbs and a little bit of protein. Sometimes I do like if I had a lunch earlier that day, I have a little snack 45 minutes before I work out, a banana and peanut butter, or an apple and peanut butter, something like that. A little bit of fat to keep the digestion going, a little bit of carbs and a little bit of
Hmm.
protein, but nothing too heavy. Ideally, like my absolute ideal workout is if I had a good nutritional day the day before, and then on that day, I have a nice, balanced, carb heavy meal about 2 to 3 hours before I work out, and then just a
Yeah.
tiny carb snack and no protein right before I work out. That works best for me. So yesterday for me was my testing day, and my friend wanted to do it today, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it because I took 2 days to prepare for it with my eating and sleeping and hydration. So I had to do it yesterday. I couldn't wait another day. um, and I would almost take that same approach for the wakeboarding. Make sure you eat good the day before, make sure you eat good the day off. If you don't like pre-workout or something like that, a little bit of caffeine can help. Making an electrolyte drink, so drinking like a Gatorade, or if you want to make it more natural, you can use water with a little bit of maple syrup, a pinch of salt, and lime juice. That's basically a natural electrolyte drink that you can have throughout your workout that will help a little bit while you're going at it. And then, like Jeff said, fueling right after. I would go the natural route. I would probably have carbs. Yesterday after my squat, I had air fried chicken, mushrooms, and barbecue beans.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Okay. I can get behind that.
So that was mine. I immediately after had a protein shake just to replenish in that moment, and then that was my dinner later. But if I wanted to take that protein shake out, I would have just added more chicken. In your perspective, the perfect post-workout snack and then meal would be?
Perfect post workout snack and meal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was tying the one time where supplements would be better than whole food. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, now if you go the whole food route, literally just keep it simple. I mean, like you were doing, like chicken and some sweet potatoes or beans and stuff like that. That's totally cool. If you do
Mm-hmm.
some like beef and rice, that's totally cool. So the reason why I was saying like supplements would be better than whole food in this scenario and this scenario only
Mm-hmm.
is because this will yield a faster digestion, and the faster you can get those nutrients back in your body after the intense training or activity, the
Mm-hmm.
faster you're going to recover. And no matter what your goal is, the faster you can recover, the quicker you can get to your goal, whatever it is. Um, Sorry, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just saying yes.
Okay.
Just agreeing.
Okay, so the two best things you can look for to yield the most optimal recovery after training would be a fast digesting carbohydrate, specifically some sort of glucose powder that has the water molecules where they've been removed, so you don't have to worry about the extra water that's being pulled in. Because with
Mm-hmm.
anytime you eat carbs anyway, your body's going to pull in about 3 grams of water per 1 gram of carb that
Mm-hmm.
you ingest. And then after that, once your body is gonna, so your body's gonna use those fast digesting carbs to replenish the muscle glycogen. That's the energy in your muscle cells, and that's the first thing that your body focuses on after intense training. Your body wants to survive. Your body needs that energy replenished. So that's what those fast digesting carbohydrates are going to do. They're going to replenish that glycogen as fast as possible. And once that happens, your body's ready to accept other nutrients much more efficiently. Now your body's ready to start repairing that muscle tissue that you broke down. So you combine the fast digesting carbohydrate with a fast digesting protein, specifically, ideally, a hydrolyzed whey protein isolate. That's going to shuttle the protein right into the muscle tissue and repair that muscle tissue that you were breaking down almost instantaneously, which is going to help repair that muscle tissue much faster. You're going to recover a lot faster. You'll reach your goal a lot faster. Plus, you'll be way less sore
Mm-hmm.
after the activity. Best way I can put it is if you train legs, you'll at least be able to move the next day.
Yes.
Best way I can put that. I know that.
Well said.
I know that was a lot. I know that was a lot. So.
Yes, you threw a lot of terms around that people might not know what exactly they mean. But the basic message was get some protein, get some carbs, get a lot of water, and you will recover.
Get protein and carbs in after the activity. Get something in.
If you decide to do it through supplements, Jeff, what should we look for on the bottle that tells us it's a good quality protein or a good quality supplement and should go in our body?
Well, specifically when it comes to powders, so stuff like greens powders and protein powders and stuff like that, the two things you want to look for are low temperature processing and cross-flow microfiltration. The cross-flow microfiltration is a much more natural way of processing the protein. So what a lot of companies will do, because it saves time and money, is that they'll process their protein or whatever the product is through a process called ion exchange, which requires chemicals and heat. Now, heat, chemicals, and nutrition really do not mix very well together. So think of it like this. So if I'm grilling some chicken on my grill out there, and I crank that thing up to 1,000 degrees, and I throw that chicken breast on there, yeah, it's going to cook very, very quickly. But how's it going to come out? Well, it's going to come out very blackened, charred. Probably not going to taste very good. But if I turn that grill down to about 250, I throw the chicken breast on there. Takes about 3.5 hours to cook. Comes out, it's nice, tender, juicy, tastes really good. And if I were to place those two chicken breasts on the same plate, you got the charred chicken breast that was cooked at 1,000 degrees, and you got the chicken breast that was cooked at 250. Which one do you think my body is going to be able to utilize a lot better?
Yeah, probably not the charcoal.
Probably not. Probably not. So if you find low temperature processing, that's going to be much easier for your body to absorb and utilize the nutrients that are in the powder, because the high temperatures and the chemicals essentially cooks a good quality protein out. But if you find low temperature processed ingredients, your body, like I said, will be able to absorb and utilize the nutrients much better. It's going to be much easier on your inside, so you don't have to worry about unwanted bloating or gas and stuff like that. Plus, it's going to taste a hell of a lot better too.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to run into any of that chalkiness, and you're not going to want to vomit all over the place.
Very good point. So when you're choosing your protein, same approach as barbecue, slow and low, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
What about the other type of supplements? You were mentioning the greens, for example.
So same concept. A lot of companies with the greens powders, again, they'll process them, try to processes. Jesus Christ.
Difficult
process. Yeah. Process them as fast as possible. Again, that'll tie back in. They'll do that at high temperatures just to speed up time. Same concept. Look for low temperature processing. Same sort of thing. Now, when it comes to like vitamins and stuff like that, and basically like any powder or vitamin that you look into, just look at the dosage. Look at the dosage on the label. Basically, the higher the dosage, the better it's going to be. Then you can price compare and stuff like that. So, say you're getting a fish oil from like Costco or Walmart or something like that. Two things you want to look for when buying a fish oil: you want to look for high EPA and high DHA. Now, if you find one at Costco or Walmart or something like that has like 100 EPA and 50 DHA, and it's costing you $40 for that big container, you're not really getting an efficacious dose there. That's efficacious. That's a fancy word for ideal.
I like it.
Fancy word for ideal. So you look at the two bottles. You'll have the small bottle that has a high EPA like 900 EPA and 600 DHA. It's a small bottle. But then you go to Costco and you get the big bottle that has 100 EPA and 50 DHA. Well, it's going to take like 9 servings of this big bottle to equal the dosage in the little bottle. So that's just stuff you want to look out for. Look at the dosage on the bottles and stuff like that. So just be a little wary of that.
Right. Same for probiotics. So vitamins, probiotics, fish oil, things like that. The higher the number, the better. And storing them in the fridge is always a good idea too, especially in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I forgot to put my fish oil in the fridge once. It was not good.
That's all right.
Yeah. No, it was not all right. It had to go in the trash. So when we want to not go the supplement route and we want to stay more natural, what's what's a good natural protein choice? And especially for somebody who might be vegetarian or vegan, what are good replacements they can
Okay. So,
use?
so if you're just vegetarian, you still got some options that you can play with here. Some very easy options that you can turn to, stuff like egg whites and seafood. Those are my top twos to go to, because typically most vegetarians that I've worked with personally, most of them do egg whites and dip
Mm-hmm.
into seafood and stuff like that. And I know the price, eggs and egg whites, they're relatively cheap. I know with seafood, especially if you live here in the Midwest like I do, seafood isn't the easiest thing to find. It's a little bit more expensive. I know if you go on the cheaper end, you can go with tilapia,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't the cleanest fish out there, but it'll give you the protein that you need. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to live a little bit and go the wild salmon route, like I do, and spend a little bit extra money, you can go that route as well. So the salmon's going to provide excellent protein quality. It's also very high in EPA and DHA as well, which is going to yield the benefits like a fish oil capsule as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason I spend a little extra money on salmon, because my diet, I don't have a lot of fats in my diet, but I want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure I want to get the benefits of the omega 3s, specifically that EPA and DHA, which help a lot with cognitive function, inflammation in the joints, which I got to up that because I have a marathon next Saturday, which is great,
We.
great. I'm looking
I'm
forward
sure
to
you're
it.
gonna rock it, Jeff. No worries.
If I can finish it in under 4, I'll be happy, which I think I can do.
I'm,
It's not gonna be fun.
I will be impressed either way because I could never. I could never.
Um, but no. Time back into the so that was vegetarian. Now,
Hmm.
for my vegan people, I'm gonna be straight up with you. And if you've done a little bit of research on vegan, you've been following it for a while, you're probably well aware of this. It is very hard to get high quality protein when you're following
Hmm.
a vegan based diet. It's just a matter of fact. Now, if you can do it, and that's what you believe in, cool, go for it.
Hmm.
I'm not going to try to steer you away from that. But I work with a couple vegans myself, and most of them just said they're going to go vegan just because they heard of all the great benefits and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So what I tell them to do, if you're thinking about trying the vegan route or are relatively new to it, um, find yourself an app to track the food that you're eating.
Hmm.
You'll notice that like all the food, or a lot of the food that you're intaking, to hit your protein goal, you're more than likely going to be well above your carb and fat goal for the day. I mean, that's just a simple matter of fact.
Right.
Because I know a lot of vegans like to turn to beans for their typical protein source
Hmm.
um, when they're vegan. Issue with that is that beans are also going to be relatively high in carbs as well, and the amino acid profile in beans, it's not going to yield the same benefits
Hmm.
like a normal protein source would. Like your meats and seafoods and
Yeah.
eggs
Well,
and
not
stuff
just
like that.
that, they're also high in FODMAP. So for people who struggle with
Yep.
autoimmune issues or inflammation,
Yep.
legumes can definitely aggravate that a lot, which is cautionary tale from an autoimmune disorder person here. So I do reach for chickpeas, edamame, which is soy, beans, kidney beans, black beans, peas, things like that. I do eat those quite a lot because I also try to cut down my meat intake a little bit,
Mhm.
just for CO2 emission purposes. But
Yeah.
it's a difficult thing to do, especially if you're only eating those things, staying within the proper nutrition and not causing inflammation or causing any deficiencies or overshooting in a certain macro type. It's difficult, but it's definitely doable. So for anyone
Absolutely.
who's vegan and wants to stay within that, I would always say do a shit ton of research on how to get your protein, because protein is really the hardest part of it. And then also, things like fish oil supplements
Mhm.
are absolutely necessary to stay healthy. But there are ways to do it if you're really interested in that. It's just not something that I know enough about that I would ever recommend doing it.
Mhm.
For somebody who's like looking to change their diet for the better and looking to make a healthier change in general, what would be your number one advice to give them to start a diet or change their habits?
The number one thing would be just to simplify things. So the
Mm-hmm.
people that I work with in my app, a lot of the times, one of the first messages that I get, just like, "Hi, I'm ready to rock this. What supplements should I take?" I'm up. Slow down. Slow down.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into any of that, and this is with any of us here at First Form. we are nutrition first, because, and we're not going to recommend you something that's not going to benefit you and that you flat out don't need. The fact of the matter is if your nutrition isn't dialed in, supplements aren't going to be much use. They are meant to supplement your diet, to fill in gaps that you're not hitting with your whole food. So the main thing is, let's lock your nutrition down first. Let's get a good solid baseline with that first. And again, just to simplify things. Now, there's a couple routes you can go with this. If you've never tracked food before, you can start off very simple by just doing a palm-sized portion of protein, about the thickness of a deck of cards, fist-sized portion of carbs, and a fist-sized portion of veggies. That'll be the simplest way to go about it. Now, if you want to start tracking your food, macro-wise, and inputting it into an app, so that way you can visually see what you're putting in your body. If you feel comfortable doing that, you can go that route as well. That way you know exactly what you're putting in your body, and that way we can make more accurate, for lack of a better term, accurate adjustments on the fly, to get you specifically to where you want to be, whether it's to build muscle or burn fat. Once we can establish that baseline, or just simply write down everything that you eat every single day. That way we can establish a baseline of where you're at and establish what changes to be made. And once we got a feel of how your nutrition is throughout the day, and then we take a look at what you do throughout the day, activity-wise, work-wise, what your home life is like, then we can start talking about, working some other stuff in that would help out with what you're trying to do. But the main thing is just to simplify things. Focus on high-quality protein, carbs, and veggies. Relatively simple. And best mindset to go about with the food that you're eating. If you think the food is BS, it probably is.
Yep.
So
Very true.
Let's bring in a little common sense into it.
Yeah. I don't know if that still exists in this year.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Simplifying is going to be the best way to do it. When it comes to tracking or starting a diet, I always tell people to just be aware of what they're eating first. Like you said, start writing down what you're eating. I discovered this app fairly recently that lets you take pictures of your food, which for me personally works better because I get very obsessive with my tracking. If I try to do macros or calories, it's for me mentally too much because I have too much background with disordered eating there. But I use this app called Shy on it's Apple iOS, and it lets you take 6 pictures for a breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, dinner, and a snack, and it will send you reminders too, which is also useful for me to stay on schedule with my eating because, like a lot of people, I get busy or I forget or, I get hungry, so I eat then, and I don't eat when I actually should be eating, so it makes sense in my schedule. So I'm a big fan of just bringing awareness to the times you're eating, what are you actually doing right now, and then that makes it a lot easier to find a starting point, really.
100%. I actually like that idea with the pictures there. That actually could be something that we could implement in ours. I like that.
You should absolutely suggest that to you guys because it gets too much for me if I have to write down my whole meal and it's so many grams of sweet potatoes, many grams of chicken, and I don't know what size weighs how much. I don't want to weigh all my food. I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. So the picture is a lot easier for me to just have an overview and not obsess about the minute details, it's so aggravating for me when I forget to log those 2.5 tablespoons ketchup that I had on top of it. but those 80 calories can make a difference.
Absolutely.
So, simplifying, big exclamation mark behind that, simplify. And follow-up question to that, what would be, if you were to prescribe a few bodyweight exercises for somebody who has no access to anything or doesn't want to go to a gym or touch any equipment, what would be your easiest do-at-home 5 bodyweight exercises that you would suggest everybody does?
5 body. Okay, so we got the push-up. We got. I love lunges. I love lunges. I like death by lunges. You'd be surprised.
Wait, you love doing them or you love prescribing them?
Well,
nobody loves doing lunges. They're awesome.
No, but I don't necessarily like doing them, but I am aware of the benefits of doing them. Okay. You do some body weight lunges for 50 yards multiple times, you're gonna feel it. So I like doing lunges. You got the push-ups, lunges, body weight squat. You can easily add some hold some extra weight, find something around the house to add a little bit more resistance to that. The sit up, very, very simple. And then I like tying back in, find something to be able to pull yourself on. If you can mimic a pull up in some sort of way, do that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Push, pull, get up and down.
Yep.
Cardio. And some lateral movements, some balancing.
Pretty much.
Really. Yeah. Walking lunges is something that I prescribe to absolutely every single person I train.
Mm-hmm.
No exceptions. They all have to do walking lunges.
No, I love lunges. I love lunges.
I hate them so much. So much. I did the plate overhead lunges the other day.
Ooh, yep.
Oh my gosh. Still have nightmares from that one.
That's just me in Bulgarian split squats. No matter how many times I do them, they mess me up every time I do them.
They're hard.
No, they are, but they tear my legs up every time I do them. It's like I know what I'm getting myself into once I start doing. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to walk till about Friday, so might as well get this over with.
That's just what it is.
Yep.
Probably, I'm not sore yet. I think I did a pretty good job recovering yesterday. I rested immediately after. I just ate and I slept. That's all I did after I squatted, basically. Oh, and I took a hot Epsom salt bath, which is also a good recovery trick. I love Epsom salt bath or hot and cold compresses. And I have a little lotion with CBD and arnica that helps a lot. So tying back to how to recover from the wakeboarding, put some arnica and some CBD on it, use some hot and cold compresses, and take a hot bath and a lot of rest and food.
I wish I could do the bath part, but I can't fit in my bathtub, so.
Well, you could maybe fold your legs in at least.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that.
That would be too funny though.
I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. For the wakeboarding, another thing, instead of just focusing on recovery, would be pre-recovery too. So exercising the muscles that you will be using while you're wakeboarding, which for one is the grip, of course, holding on to the pulley. So if your forearms get especially sore, training your grip, like we said for the pull-ups too, actually works really well together, because for both the pull-up you need grip strength, and for wakeboarding and upper body strength to hold on you need a strong torso to connect your legs to your upper body and not get torn apart. And then for the wakeboarding you would also need squatting and lateral movement, so walking lunges, squats, Cossack squats. Have you ever done Cossack squats?
I have not, actually.
Those are one of my favorite things too. It's basically a side lunge, where you just stay low and shift from leg to leg with a bar.
Okay, so yeah, so I haven't done it with a bar. I've just done that as a normal stretch, but I've never done it with a bar.
So I load it. I do it as a loaded stretch, as a hip opener for people that especially have squat issues with pushing their legs out. That's always great. I forgot how we got there. Cossack squats, do them.
No, you're talking about the wakeboarding.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the lateral movement of it. So lunges, side lunges, Cossack squats, I think would be great for that too. And now that we have our exercises that we should do and the simplification to start our diet, give me 2 supplements that you would say any person should take.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, before you look into supplements, nutrition has to be dialed in first. Otherwise, supplements are going to be next to useless for you, and I don't want you wasting your money on that. When it comes to supplements, there's a couple that I recommend to everybody, no matter what their goal is, because they can help anybody, no matter what the goal is. And this also ties into the stuff that I take. I have some stuff on standby that I kind of take as needed, but I only have a couple that I would consider my my must-have, so to speak. The main ones being, and these are ones that I recommend to everybody, daily multivitamin. Daily multivitamin, a greens powder to help fill those nutritional gaps that you're not getting through the food that you're eating. That's what the multivitamin and the greens powder will do, help fill those nutritional gaps. I also take a fish oil as well, because a lot of us, especially here in America, we are very high in omega-6 fatty acid consumption, which can cause severe inflammation. And the omega-3 fatty acids balance out those omega-6s. And frankly, we do not eat enough omega-3 fatty acids. So that is why I take a fish oil supplement on top of the salmon that I eat. So we got those three right there. The next one would be the whey protein isolate and the glucose powder for after the workout to yield the best possible recovery. If you're working out, if you're not doing heavy or intense resistance training, then this wouldn't be something that you would need. And then after that, a regular protein shake, so a meal replacement shake or protein bars. Use those as needed to hit protein and macro goals throughout the day. If you can't do that through whole food, use something like that as a backup plan. If for whatever reason you get super busy or you don't have time to cook to fix a whole food meal, something like a sustained assimilation protein, a meal replacement shake, or a protein bar, use that as a backup plan.
Sounds about right. What I have is the OptiGreens and the collagen.
Okay.
And I do have a little bit of the ignition with the fast digesting protein left for days like yesterday where I go really heavy. And I know that I will be in severe pain and not be able to move my body for at least a week if I don't do something about it. OptiGreens, as soon as I don't take them, I notice in my digestion that I need to go back on them for sure.
Especially when I have a bigger meal in the morning, that's what my breakfast is. Breakfast is usually my bigger meal. If for whatever reason I would forget to take that, or if I'm out, I notice it.
Yeah, I bet. So I highly recommend looking into that. And if you have any questions or you want to get deeper into supplementation nutrition, or you need some extra help with your workouts, or you're generally interested in joining the First Forum team, Jeff, tell us what you can do and where we can find you. And I'm going to link all your stuff in the description box below, of course, so people just can click on it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So the best place to find me, because I know a lot of what I talked about here, I used some terminology that was kind of like maybe like, what the fuck? I get that. It's second nature to me now. But no, if you have any questions about anything like that, you can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. My handle is on both of those is at Jeff Huffman 87. 87 was my baseball number. I threw it in there. What the hell? But that's the best place to hit me up for a message on there. But don't hesitate to do so, whatever it is. And also, I think I sent this to you too. The my download link for the My Transformation app.
Yes,
I believe I sent that to you. Okay, so once you check down in the description, you'll see My Transformation today. My Transformation starts today.com/advisorjeff. You click that link, that will take you to your app store, where you can download the Mind Transformation app, and that will put you directly under me. Now, there is a free and premium version of it. By no means do you have to get the premium version. You'll get a couple extra features like that. You'll be able to track your own food, watch daily live streams that are streamed directly from HQ every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, which offer tons of great tips and tricks. But most of all, you can message me directly in the app. Plus, I can see everything that you're with the app. I can also see like I said, everything that you're doing, from your fitness, from your nutrition, to your workouts, what your goals are, and what have you. I can see all of that. But yeah, that link will put you directly under me. And don't hesitate. If you do download it, don't hesitate to shoot me a message and ask any questions that you may have.
Awesome. Yeah, I highly recommend. I get all my supplements through Jeff from First Forum as well. I do have that app. I don't really use it that much, but it does exist, and it is a great help if you're into that type of thing. And I highly recommend talking to Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on today. And I think you should tell people that the 87 is how many pull-ups you do.
I might start doing that.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beast, for joining today. Get your beast mode on and get strong.